Well, continuing with our analysis with our perspective in relation to the subject of what we are not seeing, today we make the second delivery of this topic and we do it with very clear and defined purposes with respect to what is happening in the world, and that is generating a series of edges that possibly many people or a quantity of people are not capturing or understanding. This is like this because we find ourselves in a very complex and very delicate moment where it doesn't exist or an opportunity is not given where we can comprehend, analyze, and interpret the events of what is happening. And this occurs because there is an extraordinary deficiency regarding interpretation and analysis of certain topics that we have been talking about. And that makes that many times we lose the way, that we do not understand where we are going to, or we do not understand what we are doing in certain places, or we do not understand what we want of our life. And this, we say it again, has a logical sense because nowadays the system of things shows us that in the spiritual field we are coexisting with a religious Babel, full of a countless of prejudices, concepts, doctrines, controversial thoughts that collide between them. Not to say in the political field where there are a series of divergencies, a struggle of ideas, and an open debate regarding countless subjects or topics of actuality, and so forth, we can continue analyzing, discussing, raising a series of questions regarding a series of themes. So a series of questions emerge, doubts, concerns, to which we will hardly find an answer if we search. What we understand are the official versions of things. The perspective of human beings about natural and normal things has been driven so far away that nowadays we are facing a series of contradictions, of deceits, of lies, of falsehoods that are very dangerous. That is why the Church has decided in some way to invest in this type of resources with the purpose that some expression may be heard and some debate can begin and some theme of discussion is generated that can be analyzed, discussed, debated, comprehended, and above all assimilated, not with purposes of converting a person, not with purposes of taking someone to a determined situation of religious group, but on the contrary, we believe firmly that the idea in general is that the people open a debate. We believe that to debate is a very important thing. The questioning is valid. And we also believe that we must bring to the desk of discussion a series of topics which we believe to be lying, deceitful, and that belong to a great conspiracy of the Great Babylon, the religious mystery. One day it will be good to be able to address this particular subject, where we can analyze, discover, and interpret a series of declarations that are given regarding this. But that will be another subject. The subject that we are addressing now is what we are not seeing, second delivery. We want to open a range of opportunities so we can abstract some subjects and we can analyze, debate, and question them. Because we consider that nowadays there exists a lot of deception and much religious deception, for not saying other things. There are a series of topics that are being debated nowadays in a way so deceitful, so lying, and full of much Paulinism, much Pedrism, much Johnsism, that we consider particularly must be attacked and must be destroyed, because definitely, as we have sustained at the beginning of this theme, the very same Jesus the Messiah clearly expressed in his classic phrase, which for us is very important and that we have repeated in some occasions in other themes in which we have participated, that has to do with this: seeing, see not. This is a thing which we have always said to be very delicate, which saddens us in some way because people are seeing but not seeing what they must see. That is why we are trying in our possibilities to carry out a series of exercises at a podcast level with the purpose of being able to share with the people some ideas, some thoughts, and to have, if the opportunity allows, some particular debate, because we know that many people are indoctrinated. There is other type of people that have repented of some following that they have had of some religious group, some sect, and are desperately searching the way that leads them to meet with God, which we believe to be the most important thing, regardless of the religion, of the sect, of the belief, of the deceit, of the lie, or the falsehood. Because nowadays is very full, very saturated, we will say, of this type of things that make that many people to lose the way. Our idea in particular is to be able to offer to our listeners an opportunity of an open, clean and pure debate, without radicalisms, without extremism, and that we can analyze the scriptures and find in them not a doctrine of a religious group in particular, not the deceitful and lying beliefs that have been invading the mind of people throughout the times by a series of dark interests of other beings. On the contrary, our intention, we repeat, is an open, frank, honest and natural debate that allows people for the first time to have the opportunity of appreciating what is that they are not seeing. As said before, there are countless of topics that we would like to bring as themes of discussion, where we can debate them in a frank and honest way, hoping not to hurt susceptibilities. Nonetheless, we know that the truth does not sin, but is uncomfortable. But those who love the truth, that love God, that love Jesus the Messiah, will know that the most important thing is the truth at all costs, than any other thing. So we invite you to visit the webpage of the church, churchofgod.tk. You can write us also to our email, thelastchurch7 in number, okay, gmail.com. You can visit our sites where we have a series of informations where you can contact us, write to us, and we can know from you. Well, we believe that we have to enter the bottom of the matter, or as it is naturally said, the core of the issue. And we would like, as a matter of introduction, to mention some facts that are embarrassing to some extent. Such is the case, for example, that nowadays we are following a very particular theme that has called our attention very much, which we internally denominate as the Great Desolation, which is a synonym of the pandemic that is being lived in all the world. This, of the Great Desolation or the pandemic, as most people know it, has a series of very controversial situations that we believe must be addressed in a particular manner. Such is the case, to say one example, that nowadays the majority of the Johncists, Pedrists, and Paulists, or Paulins, associate a vaccine or of the many or several that are being developed to a declaration of the Book of Revelation, of the Book of Apocalypse, and that has to do with the mark of the beast. Another theme which we consider very important is a theme from which we cannot escape, and that sooner or later we will have to analyze to the bottom and begin to clarify. And we have to say, to filter between the truth and the lie, because nowadays this vaccine is being associated. We have read some writings, some reports, some news, even dreams that have come out that talk that the vaccine is the synonym of the mark of the beast. And that is why it is very important for us to address this subject and bring it to a discussion, to have an ample and sufficient debate that can allow us to have a clear vision, and above all to realize what is that we are not seeing. And we believe that to be very important. Fortunately, as someone will say, we have to make an ample, definitive and decided approach to clarify some points, because of the problems that the Paulins have and that they have not been able to understand, and is the fact that the book of Revelation expels every cheap, false and lying religious person that wants to take hold of that text. It is made in such a way that it doesn't allow that no one can understand what is written there, if they do not have a previous authorization. Why? Because, as we have said in other studies, and this is very important, it is the base that has to be very clearly stated. The book of Apocalypse, the book of Revelation, is a book created by God. It is not a book where a letter of Paul can be found, a letter of Peter, or a letter of John. No, this book was created by God Himself, and was at last revealed to Jesus the Messiah, who shared it with His servants. So from the moment that we understand that this book of Revelation is not any book, is not a text that we can use as the letters of Paul, as the letters of Peter, or as the letters of John, or the letters of any other character, from that moment we have to apply a discipline and follow the rules and the laws of God to be able to understand it. So imagine how complicated this is, that the Paulins try to apply the text of the mark of the beast to a vaccine, or to several or many vaccines. We will continue in other study addressing more about this theme. It interests us profoundly because we have to clarify a series of wrong concepts, and beforehand, we invite you once again to visit the web page of the church, to write us to our email, and if you have a question, a doubt, or some concern, we will gladly attend it. Beforehand, we thank you for your attention, and we hope to continue with this theme. Thank you very much.